There is in every true woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. A kind heart is a fountain of gladness, making everything in its vicinity freshen into smiles. Little minds are tamed and subdued by misfortune, but great minds rise above them. Sweet is the memory of distant friends. Like the mellow rays of the departing sun, it falls tenderly, yet sadly, on the heart. Love is never lost. If not reciprocated, it will flow back and soften and purify the heart. Great minds have purposes, others have wishes. There is a serene and settled majesty to woodland scenery that enters into the soul and delights and elevates it, and fills it with noble inclinations. Indeed, there is an eloquence in true enthusiasm that is not to be doubted. Age is a matter of feeling, not of years. There is certain relief in change, even though it be from bad to worse. As I have often found in traveling in a stagecoach, that it is often a comfort to shift one's position and be bruised in a new place. There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love. The idol of today pushes the hero of yesterday out of our recollection and will, in turn, be supplanted by his successor of tomorrow. A sharp tongue is the only edge tool that grows keener with constant use. There is never jealousy where there is not strong regard. The tongue is the only tool that gets sharper with use. They who drink beer will think beer. The sorrow for the dead is the only sorrow from which we refuse to be divorced. Every other wound we seek to heal, every other affliction to forget, but this wound we consider it a duty to keep open, this affliction we cherish and brood over in solitude. A father may turn his back on his child, brothers and sisters may become inveterate enemies, husbands may desert their wives, wives their husbands. But a mother's love endures through all. The land of literature is a fairyland to those who view it at a distance, but, like all other landscapes, the charm fades on a nearer approach, and the thorns and briars become visible. One of the greatest and simplest tools for learning more and growing is doing more. Honest good humor is the oil and wine of a merry meeting, and there is no jovial companionship equal to that where the jokes are rather small and laughter abundant. A tart temper never mellows with age, and a sharp tongue is the only edged tool that grows keener with constant use. The natural principle of war is to do the most harm to our enemy with the least harm to ourselves, and this, of course, is to be effected by stratagem. Acting provides the fulfillment of never being fulfilled. You're never as good as you'd like to be, so there's always something to hope for. I am always at a loss at how much to believe of my own stories. There is in every woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. A woman's whole life is a history of the affections. The natural effect of sorrow over the dead is to refine and elevate the mind. The easiest thing to do, whenever you fail, is to put yourself down by blaming your lack of ability for your misfortunes. Some minds seem almost to create themselves, springing up under every disadvantage and working their solitary but irresistible way through 1,000 obstacles. Young lawyers attend the courts, not because they have business there, but because they have no business. After all, it is the divinity within that makes the divinity without, and I have been more fascinated by a woman of talent and intelligence, though deficient in personal charms, than I have been by the most regular beauty. Those men are most apt to be obsequious and conciliating abroad, who are under the discipline of shrews at home. Christmas is a season for kindling the fire for hospitality in the hall, the genial flame of charity in the heart. Whoever hears of fat men heading a riot or herding together in turbulent mobs? No, you're lean, hungry men who are continually worrying society and setting the whole community by the ears. He is the true enchanter, whose spell operates, not upon the senses, but upon the imagination and the heart. Whenever a man's friends begin to compliment him about looking young, he may be sure that they think he is growing old. Marriage is the torment of one, the felicity of two, the strife and enmity of three. An inexhaustible good nature is one of the most precious gifts of heaven, spreading itself like oil over the troubled sea of thought, and keeping the mind smooth and equable in the roughest weather. Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little. It is not poverty so much as pretense that harasses a ruined man, the struggle between a proud mind and an empty purse, the keeping up of a hollow show that must soon come to an end. Rising genius always shoots out its rays from among the clouds, but these will gradually roll away and disappear as it ascends to its steady luster. There is a healthful hardiness about real dignity that never dreads contact and communion with others, however humble. Temper never mellows with age, and a sharp tongue is the only edged tool that grows keener with constant use.